Welcome to the Natural Way of Being video blog. This video is titled, Seeing Yourself as Walking Toward. So it's continuing to be pretty rough in our world right now with increased COVID cases and a lot of things that are shut down and more is getting restricted. And I think there's a real tendency right now to see yourself as blocked or oppressed from the things that you'd really like to have in your life right now. And that can get pretty rough emotionally. It can feel depressing and stifled. And I think a lot of people are having a rough time. I know I can feel it in myself and some of my friends and my clients. And as I just look around, it's challenging. The skill I wanted to offer, I've been using for a long time. This was shared with me by my teacher, Bart Anderson, a long time ago. And it's been really useful. And it's seeing yourself as walking toward. And so it's all about how we see ourselves in relation to the thing that we would like to, the thing that we'd like to unfold in our life. So obviously it's helpful to have some things that you'd like to unfold in your life. And it's a great time to do some soul searching on that as well. Like what's really important to me now and what are some things that maybe I haven't been allowing myself or I haven't had time for that I want to create in my life. And then to start identifying some ways that we can begin to walk toward that. Now that is understandably, agreeably, it's a bit challenging now to see ways to walk toward things when everything's shut down. So I think the key to this is kind of to look at what can we build that's kind of under the surface. And so this is the best metaphor for this is the classic iceberg thing where there's 10% above the surface and 90% below. Well, we're going to be working largely on the 90% these days because probably the actual, thing itself is maybe blocked. So if it's a business, it's like asking, so what are the services and products I really want to offer and who do I want to offer it to? Or if it's life purpose, it's like what really matters? What's important to me? If it's relationship, like who do I really want to have in a relationship and my friends and my family and my community? Like what are the elements and the qualities that I really want in relationship, whether that be intimate relationship or friendship or whatever else. And so then it's finding a way to start walking toward these things, and then it's seeing yourself as walking toward. And this is challenging because the top 10%, has form. Okay, the 90% is pretty much formless. It's inside, it's every bit as real, and it eventually needs to get done anyway, at least if it has value. We're going to have to do that inner work anyway, but it's formless. And so it's tough to see and really trust that it's real, and it's tough to see progress. So we have to work a little harder to kind of acknowledge that this under the surface work that we're doing has value and it is real, and we have to acknowledge that we are making progress. And what that does is it allows ourselves to see ourselves walking toward the thing that we would like to have in our life or the things that we'd like to have. And then that starts creating, some momentum. And then we feel like, then we don't feel oppressed and we don't feel blocked and we don't feel stagnant and frustrated because it's like, what? I made progress today. It may be something that's kind of invisible. Like I meditated today and I allowed myself to be more open and to allow more love in. Now that's tough to measure, but it has a feeling, and that's going to come in very handy in relationship and just about everything in life, actually. And so we have to acknowledge that and just saying, okay, well, by doing that meditation, and feeling that I was more open, by being more open today, by having my heart be more open and allowing myself to be vulnerable when I was at work or or when I was talking to my child or my, and that was a huge, that was walking toward, you know, by being more vulnerable, I'm walking toward, and I took another step or two toward the thing that I want in my life. So my life is continuing. I'm still growing. I'm still evolving. I'm developing things. I'm creating things. And even though it's more under the surface, and now we get a sense that that I'm moving. I'm no longer stuck. I'm no longer stagnant. I'm now seeing myself walking toward, because it's really important how we see ourselves in relation to the world. Now I'm getting closer, and now I'm feeling like, yes, I'm moving toward. Life is happening again. Well, the reality was it probably always was happening, but when everything's invisible, we lose faith that things are happening, and we start doubting it, and then we feel blocked and frustrated and stunted, if you will. So this is something that I'd invite you to try. It requires some compassion. It requires some insight. And so it's like asking first, like, what can I develop inside? What's the 90% that I can do? And then creating a practice, if you will, of noticing the steps that you're making toward. So anyway, hopefully this is helpful. It's been very helpful to me and some of my clients. Hopefully it will be helpful to you. I appreciate you watching this video, and please, hang in there, and we're definitely in this together. I hope you really enjoy your week despite it being challenging, and hope you see yourself walking toward the things that you'd really like to have in your life. All right, take care. See you in a week.